How we doing, everybody? Welcome back to the Catalyst, where we break down all things bullish in crypto. Cardano had quite the weekend in terms of things that are bullish, ripping up approximately 9% just over the past 24 hours.
Mr. Krabs.
Hello, I like money.
So we're going to just break down quickly as to kind of why that might be happening and take a look at the charts here in a second. So first off, the launching of DEXs, and so Sunday Swap has announced that the mainnet launch will take place on January 20th, so just a few days away. So obviously that is good. They're kind of leaning into that promise previously of DEXs being supported on Cardano, which is really good for them. Additionally, Pavia.io has officially launched on Cardano as the first metaverse after their NFTs have gained some traction on the blockchain as well. So obviously any metaverse news is a huge boost to any crypto asset at the moment. We've seen what's happened with Sand, what's happened with Mana, and so on. So obviously that is huge important news for us there. And then going forward into the rest of the year, they have just kind of reiterated what they plan to do with Cardano. Parameter adjustments, improvements, enhancements, and other innovations that will all kind of help Cardano manage capacity and throughput during 2022, and just focusing on some of those on and off chain issues that we've been kind of aware of, that Cardano has kind of put their brand on, right? The classic issues of scalability, security, and decentralization. That's what Cardano is planning to tackle, and they seem to be off to a pretty solid start to start the year. So that is also great. Additionally, Hoskinson reiterated that more dApps are coming on the way this quarter. So that's all great news for us there. So let's take a look at the charts now. So this is the chart at the moment.
Hey, that's pretty good.
So you see, we've been kind of, well, previously we ripped up almost like nuclear over the course of just a few weeks. Cardano went up from the bottom to the top 165%. So obviously somewhere in here you would have been getting a signal to sell, most likely, getting so overextended like this. But then we just kept ripping up, actually. So hopefully you guys took some profits along this, and hopefully you've been accumulating along kind of this descent here. We have something close to a double bottom. Let's just throw a trend line in here as well. You can make an argument that this is probably a pretty accurate way to depict it, with this being some sort of fake out. So what we're looking for now, let me change the color to white. First off is some sort of confirmation here that this is going to continue. So there's a good chance we could see some rollback at some point to retest this, find some support along this again, similar to what we've seen recently with some other crypto assets. I believe Chainlink had a pretty similar pattern where it had this big kind of sell-off period. It broke through that resistance, tested as support, and has gone up since then pretty well. Additionally, we see some major moments for potential resistance where we had seen those kickbacks up to the upside. So this is one here at about the $1.70 mark. We see this one here at the $2.20 mark. At the $2.60 mark, we see that here where we had that big sell-off, that first giant uber red candle, and then quickly came back up, and then it started to kind of trickle down from there. And then obviously the previous all-time high is going to be a big one. So those are the four I have labeled here. So you can see these along the side, right? So $1.70, $2.25-ish, $2.65-ish, and about the $3 mark. For me, what you're looking for is to break out of any of these patterns, or break any of these resistances rather, and then potentially find the previous one as some support. So what we'd like to see ultimately is something like this, where we in some way, shape, or form begin to come up here, break up into here in this range. What would likely happen is something like this. We find some support, come back up, eventually break through the previous resistance again, find support. This would be the healthiest way anyways. and kind of continue to step our way up that ladder there. We've seen how it worked with the ETH chart. Looks pretty good like that, where it goes up, has a nice steady kind of accumulation period where it pulls back just a bit, finds some support somewhere. The thing that's tough is Cardano, as we know, has enormous periods of growth. So this is a good time to buy in if you haven't already. We have seen what happens with Cardano when it goes off, because it goes off big, it goes off quickly, and then there's an enormous sell-off period just in the last year. So basically since May, right, we had a gain here of 100%, and then we had losses of 50%. So about, you know, you would get back to exactly where we started, right? So like if you look at it, right, we've now found support at the $1.12 mark 3 or 4 separate times even, right? So one back here, one back here, here. Maybe you could count that as well. This, we've wicked into it twice. This is insane support. So anything in this range at the $1.10, $1.12 mark, that seems to be like the ultimate buy price for Cardano. And then you see here, obviously, like I said, 150% gains, 100% gains there. There's probably other moments where there's 30 or 40% gains as well. So that's kind of what we're looking for here. Potentially another very quick run up where we start to rip up into the mid 2s range. And we'll see kind of what happens from there. Obviously, the metaverse stuff, like let's just take a look at Sandbox. This is outlandish. The gains that were made in a month's time. We literally went from here to here, 800% gains. That is actually getting to the point where it's potentially life-changing wealth or life-changing gains there. Obviously, if you're in Mana, you had similar gains, right? A candle on a single day, 300% almost. That's crypto for you guys. I don't see ADA doing that. It has a pretty high market cap comparatively to those guys. But ADA is also a trusted crypto asset kind of throughout the industry and everything like that. So there's a chance that it could see a big run up and maintain some higher levels, hopefully for an extended period of time. What we don't want is to have this giant run up and a slow trickle down again. Ideally, we would see a healthier run up. Basically, this chart, if we were to flip it upside down, right? So if this was all gains, if you were to kind of mirror the chart top to bottom, that would be like a pretty healthy chart for us here, where we have some decent pullbacks, some decent gains, but ultimately over the course of 6 months, we are growing, you know, 50% or whatever that is, 60% there. So that's what we're looking for Cardano. Otherwise, guys, stay tuned for whatever updates they might be having. I'm sure there's going to be more announcements on more DEXs, more NFTs, all that fun stuff. So definitely stay tuned for that, and I will keep you guys updated as best as I can. We're already up 6% again today after our 9% gain yesterday. So 15% over the last 2 days. Pretty solid. You can't really beat that. That's crypto for you guys, and we'll catch you on the next one. Peace.